Amidst the echoes of history lies a monumental turning point. The day Rome cast off its kings, not with a swift revolution, mind you, but with something far grander. The birth of a republic. It happened over 2,500 years ago, and yet the ripples of that transformation still shape our world. But why? Why did a mighty kingdom become a land ruled by the people? Well, some of the people. Let's journey back to where it all began. Before Julius Caesar, before gladiators, even before the sprawling empire, there was simply Rome, a rising city nestled amongst 7 hills. In those early days, around 509 BC, Rome was no sprawling metropolis. It was a kingdom ruled by powerful Etruscan monarchs to the north. But beneath the gilded facade of royal rule, something was stirring. Seeds of unrest, whispers of a different kind of power structure were taking root. Buckle up, history buffs, because we're about to delve into the nitty-gritty of pre-Republic Rome. Picture the year 509 BC, roughly 7 centuries after the city's legendary founding. Life for the average Roman citizen was a tapestry woven with hard work, fierce loyalty, and a healthy dose of uncertainty. Back then, Rome had been under Etruscan rule for centuries. These powerful kings, like Tarquin the Elder and Tarquin the Proud, were credited with impressive infrastructure projects, temples, aqueducts, but their reign was far from benevolent. Roman society was a rigid pyramid. At the very top perched the aristocratic elite, the Patricians. They held all the political power, owned vast swathes of land, and viewed themselves as descendants of the city's founders. Below them toiled the plebeians, farmers, artisans, and merchants, the backbone of the Roman economy. Yet they had little say in how the city was run. Historians still debate the exact spark that ignited the flames of change. Some point to growing resentment towards the Etruscan kings' extravagant lifestyles and increasingly brutal tactics. Others theorize that economic disparities between the wealthy patricians and the plebeians reached a boiling point. Whatever the catalyst, tensions reached a fever pitch around 509 BC. Popular legend tells the tale of Lucretia, a noblewoman who tragically took her own life after being assaulted by the son of the last Etruscan king, Tarquin the Proud. This event, real or symbolic, served as a rallying cry for the people. A charismatic leader named Lucius Junius Brutus, a man of noble birth who had defied the king, emerged as the face of the rebellion. Brutus, along with other prominent plebeians, united the city in a daring act of defiance. Picture a city simmering with discontent, whispers of rebellion echoing through the streets. For the average Roman, life was a precarious balancing act, fulfilling their duties while harboring a growing frustration with the established power structure. The year is 509 BC. Rome, fueled by centuries of resentment, has finally cast off the Etruscan yoke. But what lay in the wake of this upheaval wasn't chaos. Instead, a remarkable experiment in governance was born, the Roman Republic. It wasn't a seamless transition, mind you, but a messy, complex, and fascinating journey. So why did Rome become a republic? Let's break down the key reasons. The excesses of the Etruscan kings, particularly Tarquin the Proud, became synonymous with tyranny. The Romans grew weary of unchecked power concentrated in the hands of one individual, especially a ruler who cared so little for the welfare of his subjects. The stories of Tarquin's brutality and arrogance, whether fully accurate or embellished over time, became a symbol of everything the Romans rejected. The Patricians, Rome's wealthy elite, realized the monarchy excluded them from real power. They sought inclusion in the decision-making process, a way to protect their interests and check any potential abuses of power. While the Patricians initially benefited from the change, they still battled for power within the new republic system. The common people, the backbone of Rome's economy and military, demanded a voice. They rallied for representation to protect themselves from exploitation and have a say in decisions that profoundly impacted their lives. It's worth noting, this fight for representation would last for centuries to come, a constant push and pull between the classes within the Republic. This tension is what would help the Republic thrive for so long. The Romans possessed a strong sense of res publica, literally meaning public thing or commonwealth. They believed they collectively bore a responsibility for the well-being of their city. The Republic aimed to embody this concept, a sense that the citizens were bound by shared values and a duty to work together for the common good. Romans were a pragmatic people focused on results. In some ways, the Republic represented a logical evolution. If one man's unchecked rule wasn't working, the Roman solution was to spread that power among many, creating a more stable system of checks and balances. They weren't afraid to experiment with governance, constantly refining and evolving the Republic's structures over centuries. Historians and archaeologists are still uncovering the details, but we know the early Republic's foundation was complex. Rome replaced their monarchs with 2 consuls, elected for one-year terms. This was a clever way of ensuring no single individual could amass too much power. The Senate, a body of elders initially drawn exclusively from the patrician class, advised the consuls and held considerable influence. Plebeians organized into assemblies, gradually gaining the power to pass laws and elect their own representatives, known as tribunes, who could veto any actions deemed harmful to the common people. Rome's transformation wasn't driven by a single ideology. It emerged from a complex cocktail of social tensions, political ambitions, and a deep-rooted desire for a more just system of government. This messy but ultimately successful transition shaped the trajectory of Western civilization. The birth of the Roman Republic wasn't merely a change in who held the reins of power. It marked a shift in how an entire society envisioned its own governance. The ideals born in the Roman Forum, representation, civic virtue, the delicate balance of power, these echo down to the very institutions we take for granted today. But the Republic wasn't a utopia. It was flawed, as any human endeavor must be. The struggle between the Patricians and the Plebeians, the very tensions that helped shape it, also threatened to tear it apart. There were power grabs, periods of near dictatorship, and full-blown civil wars centuries later. Perhaps the greatest irony is that Rome, having rejected the notion of kings, would eventually transform back into an empire under figures like Augustus and Julius Caesar. And yet, even these mighty emperors carefully cloaked their power in the symbolism of a republic that no longer truly existed. So, as we ponder the rise and eventual fall of the Roman Republic, let us ask ourselves, can true power ever fully rest with the people? What happens when the ambition of individuals clashes with the ideals of a republic? Was the republic doomed from the start, or could it have truly endured? History offers no easy answers, only echoes. Rome invites us to listen closely and consider our own societies, our own struggles with power, representation, and the delicate dance of upholding an ideal. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the fascinating tides of history.